Kia ora koutou. This is the first interview for 2026. I'm sitting down with Tamara Buckland to dig into a new venture that she is creating, something totally different in the leadership development space. I'm really looking forward to learning and digging into how this actually works. Collective intelligence is a home for people who care enough to change the world. And Tamara, I believe, cares enough to change her world. Enjoy. Welcome back, everybody. I'm in downtown Wellington. It's a beautiful day, and I am talking to Tamara Buckland.
Kia ora. Hi. It's nice to be here. It is a beautiful day. You're very lucky to be here on a beautiful day.
In a very, very funky office in a little side street, and it's all kind of mysterious and it reminds me of the French thing where they have courtyards and stuff, and it's very cool. Yeah. Okay, Tamara, so the challenge for you and I this afternoon is not to piss around, because we could do that very, very easily. Correct. And we're going to be sensible and big grown-up people today. We've laid down a challenge that neither of us are going to cry.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
So, Tamara, who are you?
So, that's a great question. Wasn't prepared to answer that, although I should have been. I'm Tamara. I am, who am I? I'm an Aquarius. I'm a silly Billy. I am a country gal, and I am a entrepreneur and all sorts of things. But I'd say that first and foremost, I am someone who cares a lot about people and a lot about this planet and a lot about justice and a lot about doing the right thing. And that probably makes up 95% of my personality. And also silliness is probably, which is, thanks for, I'm going to try and be my grown-up self, but it is quite hard for me to avoid being like a silly Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there another name for that?
Other than silly Billy?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the one I tend to default to because I think it conjures up real clear images. But it probably is like just very whimsical, just trying to like go through life in a way where everything can be a bit playful, a bit funny, a bit like not too serious, because God knows there's a lot of serious stuff in the world. So yeah.
Interesting. I would never have used that word or term to describe you.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Playful,
yeah.
Experimental.
Yeah.
Pushing the boundaries. Giving a fuck.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silly Billy, not so much.
Maybe, I think I am someone who probably can be different things in different environments, and I would say that probably there's only a certain number of people who would see the really silly part of me, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't always belong in different places, right? So but those other words also are true. Yeah.
Look, I can defer to that sometimes, and not always at the most appropriate times either. This got me in trouble, just going, what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I've got a long history of apologising to people about, it's okay.
That's okay.
Tamara, you're also a very colourful character, right? There's going to be a photo of you on the podcast. You are a very colourful character.
Yeah.
What's that about?
That's a deep question. That's a really deep question. What's it about? I wasn't always like that. I was quite a quiet, shy, reserved kid. And I think the colourful part came from wanting to be seen and wanting to be noticed and wanting to be known for things other than my academia. That was something, like, I was a very intelligent kid, but that was sort of became a thing I was known for. But I had so much more to me. I was actually a really creative person, but I didn't feel like I was able to be that creative person. So the literal colour on my arms and my tattoos are, first of all, a rebellion against my mother, who hates tattoos. So the first one was to piss her off. The second one, well, probably the first 200 hours or something. I don't know how many hours there are, but like,
Of pain.
And that says something. That probably means it's not just to piss off my mother, but there's the bigger kind of thing there of like, if I colour myself and I present myself in this way, people won't notice that I can be really boring at times. People won't notice that I am quiet at times. People won't notice that I'm fat. I mean, there's actually quite a lot of things. It's like, put all the colour on, put all the interesting stuff on the outside, so it protects me from being known and being seen, just in case they don't like what they see. There's a lot of deep shit there, which is like, I don't know that I'm a person people want to know. As I've gotten older, I've kind of, worked through that a bit. But it's like, hey, if I look interesting, then maybe I can become interesting. And actually, I think that could be true. I think it's a sort of a self-fulfilling thing as well, but also I think I am interesting. I just think I didn't know that about myself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not an answer I was expecting.
We're going to get into it, yeah.
So tell this academic thing, like what sort of academic?
I was just really smart. Like, I was a mathlete. I sat some of my exams a year early at school. I was in all the advanced classes. I was a nerd, and I did maths in my spare time. As a 13, 14-year-old, I got bullied for it, but like, I enjoyed being smart and feeling like I could pick up new things really quickly, and I wouldn't say that's true of me now, like as in like there's certain, I'm smart in my own ways, but like there was just a period of teenagerhood where I was just very academically gifted, and I think that served me well to a certain extent. But I will say that once I got to university and things got hard, because everything had been easy for me up until a point,
right.
I really struggled.
Right.
I was like, I'm useless. And so the negative self-talk was really bad, because it was like I'd never gotten used to working hard actually, or to failing and then feeling what that was like, and I suddenly started failing a lot. And to this day, I find it hard to do new things if I don't think I'm going to be amazing at it from the get-go, which limits what I do, and it sucks.
What did you study at university?
Music, opera singing specifically. Yeah. Yeah. A very competitive program to get into. Only like 5 people got in. I got in my first time. I've got a degree in classical, opera singing. So
shut the front door.
Yeah. And it was hard. It was hard. It was hard.
There's no doubt in my mind that at no point I thought, that'll be easy.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a real shift. I started studying psychology. I've always wanted to be a psychologist, and maybe one day I will be. Like that, there's no reason why I can't be that later. But I found it boring, and so I switched to singing. I had been singing very long, but I switched to singing, and I was very talented at it very quickly. The problem is that I was very good at singing, and I'd never done any sort of the theory side of music. And what happened was they let me in because I was so talented.
You sounded good.
I sounded good. The rest of it was lacking, so I started failing all sorts of classes because it was way beyond my skill set. I managed to catch up and figure that out, but I think they sort of did a disservice to me in that way. I don't regret it, but yeah.
Like I did, I have interviewed another opera singer, Anna Perard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know. And she, we talked about some of the study that goes on to understand what the hell you're singing about.
Yes.
And all the other stuff, right? It's a big deal.
Well, yeah, and that wasn't for me. I quickly realised that, so I worked as a professional opera singer for a few years after that. And the goal was to go and sing in a German opera house. I had some people coaches who really wanted me to go and do that, but 2 things became apparent. One, I'm not very good at languages. I mean, German was okay, which is why I was like, I'm going to go to Germany. But also, I just couldn't. I wasn't a very good actor. I was very shy on stage. I would cry a lot before we had to do any acting or anything.
You haven't cried so far.
I know,
so this is
but
good.
You haven't asked me to do any acting yet.
Right.
So we'll see. And also just the games and the politics and the sucking up to people and the schmoozing and the things. You can imagine that was not my thing, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, nah, I'm out. It just became obvious that I was going to have to be someone I wasn't to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
I went and worked in a bank instead. I mean, I worked in a bank. I taught singing to people for a while, and I was at the bank, and gave people mortgages and stuff. Like, but I shouldn't have been giving people mortgages. I wasn't very good at what I was doing. But
so apologies to anybody who's gone bankrupt.
Exactly. Anyone who I gave a mortgage to,
apologies.
Please I am profusely apologising for that. And then I bought my own first. That's when I bought my first business, a music venue in here in Wellington, and then all sorts of other shit after that. But yeah,
because you've been a serial entrepreneur.
In some ways, yes. Yeah, I have been.
What do you mean in some ways yes? What are the some ways no? Either yes or no, I don't think.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, the answer is yes, because I have owned several businesses, and there's been also big gaps where I haven't owned any businesses.
Yeah.
But I reckon the reason why I hesitate there is because there is in my own mind, such a vision of what an entrepreneur is, and an entrepreneur has a really successful business, or they exit and they sell it, and like. I've had some things that just didn't go anywhere, and I know that that's such a narrow definition I have in my own mind, because I don't believe that to be true about anybody else. Anybody else who owns a business, runs it, you're an entrepreneur. But for me, I have this weird thing of they weren't successful, so therefore didn't count.
Right.
But that's bullshit, because you've got to go through some stuff before you find the thing that you're going to be successful at anyway. Yeah.
And it's trying to marry that risk thing.
Yeah.
And balance all that out and take the appropriate risk, and sometimes it's not, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Totally.
Absolutely. And failure just comes with it.
Yeah. It's an incredibly important thing. It's important to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little sidebar thing, but there are some companies that have been successful for too long, and we had a company we worked with, the CEO and other staff, and they were successful for too long, and they were big business, and they nearly went under because when the winds changed, they didn't build the skills to cope with it, because they just chugged out the same thing for 40 years. Right? Yep. And then just a bit of a breeze from the left came in, and one fart, they nearly tipped over. 600 people work there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just their adaptability quotient just wasn't there.
Yep. I've not seen it in such a big way, but certainly in a similar way with founder-led startups, of that thing of hey, actually, you've been the CEO of this company as the founder for too long, and your lack of adaptability is now inhibiting this business, and if you don't step away and let someone else come in, you're going to have the same thing of not being able to adapt to the different winds and the different things that come through. And it's a hard thing for them to swallow, obviously, but it's an important thing of knowing when to move on.
Why do you think I want to talk to you?
Oh, fuck. Because I might say something unhinged, and that could be quite entertaining.
Yeah, that's a given.
That's a given, yeah.
That's a given. Why else? It's a serious question.
And
I don't give this, precursor, I don't give this to anybody, but there's a reason I've done it.
Yeah. Every part of my body wants to not answer that question or even attempt to think about it, because I think it feels like I'd have to say something that I would perceive as arrogant.
Wow.
So I don't know. I actually don't know. And I should have asked you. I just was I'll do whatever. Well, I just also don't know. I actually don't know. But I trusted that you knew and that we would go.
Okay, that's a first mistake. No, this is a purely selfish interview, so I don't care if anybody listens to this or not, because it gave me a chance to understand you more.
Yeah.
You've fascinated me. I watch you on social media. You're prolific. You give a fuck. You annoy a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I think it's lucky you're smart,
Right. Yeah.
because otherwise you could come across a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But like, you're consistently smart.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I do think I probably still come across a bit of a dick to lots of people.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind.
Yeah.
But if I come across as not a dick to people that I care about, like you, whose opinions matter to me, then that's great. So thank you. That's nice.
And also, I had this wee moment where I reached out to you and you didn't come back to me. And I had that whole big story in my head.
Yeah.
That was fascinating, eh?
Yeah.
I love that, because I thought, I can't remember what it was. I reached out to Tamara for something, didn't hear back, and I built this big story that I'd offended you, or I wasn't cool enough for you, or something, right? All the things, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'm going to put my big undies on and actually reach out again, and then we sat down and had that conversation.
Yeah.
But it was amazing how easily an early thread can dry up.
100%, and that has taught me something. Like, I was very thankful that you did reach out again and we had that conversation, and that you are brave enough and self-aware enough to also be able to name it as that story, because I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't. I think that is the danger of the public persona that I might have, where I say what I mean. I possibly come across like I don't know, in particular ways that may mean that there might be meaning put on things that I do.
Yep.
Whereas actually, if people who know me know, first of all, my ADHD is mostly the problem with not replying. It's nothing to do with anybody else, but it is something I'm battling. It's actually something I talked to my therapist about this morning, which was like, hey, I feel like I'm not a good friend. I feel like I let people down because I don't reply to them in ways that, in timeframes that matter to them. And I forget people exist in my world. Like, it's true. I wish I had a spreadsheet of all my friends, because I'll just forget that they exist. It's just part of my ADHD that I manage. Same with my inbox. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if there's been lots of people who I haven't replied to, who, instead of reaching out like you did, haven't, and have had a story about me. And that wouldn't surprise me, and it would be a shame. But I am so humble, and I'm so humble. It's like the least humble thing to say ever. But like, and so I would never think I was too. In fact, I feel like I'm the uncoolest, nerdiest person I've met. So I would never not contact someone because I didn't think they were cool, or even if I was pissed off with them, I'd probably just say that. Like, I would never just ghost someone on purpose. It's rude.
Yep.
But I do that accidentally all the time.
Yeah. Look, it's interesting. I'm dealing with a member at the moment who's just figured out, been diagnosed with ADHD, right? And there are times, and I go, and I'll send her a text, say, come on, wake up.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's just, but you've got to do that extra piece, right?
Yeah.
And I know it's not her being lazy or this or this or this. I've just got to rattle the cage.
I know, and and you do that. You've done that for me a few times, where you'll just bump, and then I'm like, oh, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Which is so helpful. It is very helpful, and I think it's on us ADHD and people with ADHD to figure out some processes and stuff that help us with that. But we'll say, like, I've gotten better in some respects, but fuck, it's a challenge.
Yep.
So if people in our lives that care and understand that that's a thing can just do a little extra bump, like, hey, you're there, it's really helpful.
Tamara, what's brave leadership to you?
That good question. I think it's sort of related to what we were just talking about. It's the ability to be able to do what we say we're going to do, to name the stories that are in our head when something comes up. It's the ability to reach across a divide. It's ability to stand up for what's right, and to be okay with discomfort, and to be okay with pushing up against the norms. And for me, brave leadership, being brave and courageous, is probably the thing that I talk about the most with leaders in this climate. There is no room, in my mind anyway, it's pretty rigid, there's no room for leaders who cannot stand up for their people, stand up for the environment, stand up for what's right, stand up against whatever's going on, and do it in a way that is kind and empathetic, but is not going to we're not going to let our egos, we're not going to let other people's egos dictate how we behave. We're going to do what's right. And the more we can see leaders doing that around the world, even in small workplaces or at big scale as well, the more I think we're going to have a chance of beating fascism, capitalism, like all the isms. The fight is on, as far as I'm concerned. We've got a fight ahead of us, and we're going to need every person to step up. And again, doesn't matter what scale that's at. I think everybody's got some version of a fight that's happening within their workplace or with whatever, and they're going to have to
I'd love to take a photo of you right now. If I can fold the arms.
Yep. Yeah. I actually do think that the body language is probably quite telling. Yeah.
That was quite something.
Yeah.
Right? Just watching the whole demeanour change.
Yeah.
Can I give you some feedback?
Of course.
No, not of course. Some of that sounded a little bit judgy.
Totally. Yep.
You okay with that?
This is where there's two things. I am judgy. Yeah. A few years ago, I would have balanced those statements a lot differently. I don't think there's room for non-judgmental stuff when it comes to certain things. However, in practice, when I'm working with a leader...
What are the things? What are the things that are non-negotiables?
Things like standing up to bullies in your workplace.
Yep.
If you're not standing up to a bully in your workplace and you're going, but this, but that, nah, I'm judging you. Or things like, stuff around political things. I'm staying neutral because it doesn't affect me. Right. No, I'm judging you.
Right.
You don't have to do activism or advocacy in the same way I do. But if you've got some sort of privilege or some sort of thing in your own way, I'm going to want to see you do something. And if you don't do it, then I'm going to judge you. That's okay. Like it doesn't matter. That's just the consequence of not doing something.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be critical. I just wanted to lay that out there.
Oh, no, you're not being critical. I actually think it's an important thing because I reckon there's too many people who are trying to be neutral on the subject and not judgmental, etc. That's the bit that gets detrimental, I believe. If I tried to stay neutral and not judgmental, what the fuck would I achieve?
Yep.
Nothing. But the most important thing is that when I'm sitting down with a leader and talking to them about their behaviour one-on-one, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm not going in there with judgment in those conversations. Yep. Like my judgment is at a group level, at a high level, but on a one-on-one, I'm going, tell me about what's happening here. Tell me about your fears. Tell me, and I can have empathy for people who don't know how to change their behaviour, or don't know how to intervene in a bullying situation, and we can have that chat. But there's some noise somewhere, isn't there?
I'm just. I thought it was a motorbike starting and going to drive off. Look at that, close the window.
Close the window. Noise stops. Imagine that.
Amazing. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Technology.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to rub people up the wrong way sometimes.
Yes. Again, the people pleaser in me, the person who grew up never wanting to rock the boat on any way, is so can get really afraid of doing that. But again, I'm not prepared to live my life in a half-assed way. People judge me all the time for
Yep.
being judgy.
Yep.
Great. So then, like, we're all judging each other. Let's just put it out on the table.
I judged you absolutely when I saw you. I thought, who is this colourful woman? What's she about?
Yeah. Yes, totally.
You've got a thing in your lip. What the fuck's that? A diamond or like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it was like there was a statement being made there.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what's it about?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I'd rather someone have quite a strong reaction to me, and then we can either tussle it out together, and we can have a chat, and we can change our minds. But I think the judginess is important because it also means that we can be open. I mean, for me, what's also important is that if I'm going to be judgy about something, then I also need to be very flexible to be unjudged, like to undo that immediately if I find out some new information. I can't be sticking to that.
Yeah. So I think that's a critical piece, and I often talk to people about the importance of changing your mind.
Yeah.
And I talk about freedom of thought.
Yes.
Right? You can have your own thoughts, freedom of thought, you can change your thoughts, change your mind.
100%.
Right? Get more information, go, oh, okay, different thought,
Well, yeah.
different opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spoke about that at a youth conference a couple of years ago. I was a keynote speaker alongside Tori Whānau, and the thing that I was talking about was this idea. I'm Jewish, I grew up pretty pro-Israel because my family are from live in Israel. There's a whole lot of other stuff. I won't go into a deep political rant here, but what I wanted to share with the audience was that my upbringing meant that, like, I had some probably pretty racist views about Palestinians without even realising it until probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, until I started doing my own research, thinking about my own mindset, and I've completely 180'd on that, like, different thing. But what I was trying to say to these young people is don't get locked in. Like, it just, especially if your family are locked in, you don't have to be locked in. Like, change your mind, experiment, play with new ideas, test your thinking, and you can easily go back to that way of thinking if you want to, but, it's important.
It's funny how things come around. I have been learning recently more about paradox and the importance of paradox.
Yeah, yes.
And trying to practice that and go, okay, so I think this is true. So what else is true? Is the opposite true? Could the opposite be true?
Yep.
Yes, it can be.
Yes.
And that I don't think you can fully debate or understand something unless you can see the opposite side.
Yes.
Right, go around and have a look at it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had an example of that recently that you can think of?
No, I'm asking the questions too, by the way.
So cheeky.
No, I've had. No, this was a conversation by a very smart woman, PJ Manny, who was sort of mentoring me around stuff and introduced me to this paradox and how important it is. And so she's teaching me about collective intelligence, which is wicked. And of course I've known it's been there, but she's really trying to develop that skill there. So so I'm trying to use that more and more in my life, and we go, okay, this is what I believe. And sometimes that's quite hard to actually work out. What do I believe?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm dying to ask, how do you feel about Israel at the moment?
Well, I fucking hate them. I know I don't hate all my blood family live there, basically. I don't hate my family. I love my family. Surely I also like the people who are in there, but I also hate the actions of the government, and I don't feel like I need to clarify that. I will
not asking for that. No.
But both of those things can be true. I'm very pro-Palestinian, and I love my family, and I love people, and those people may live in Israel. Both of those
paradox.
Paradox.
All over the place.
All over the place. Both of those things have to be true.
Yep.
Why would I give up one of those things? That makes no frickin' sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same is true of workplaces and all the leadership stuff that I do. There's a company that I regularly talk about. I won't name them, but like a company that I'm regularly critical of in Wellington. That I think is run in such a terrible way, very toxic. And yet, if you talk to some of the staff there, they love working there. And it must both be true that this is a toxic workplace with a toxic leader and people enjoy working there.
Yep.
That those two things can be true at once.
Yep.
Why not? We don't have to write off a whole thing. Imagine writing off a whole thing. That's what, and same with humans. Humans can be, I've been so fucking toxic in my life as a leader, no doubt. And yet I'm also loving and caring and I want to be better. Both of those things can be true, and that's where we get that like one-on-one nuanced that's where we find empathy for people and know that they can change. And we can also be judgy about their actions at the same time.
And
yeah.
that being love and caring and so forth, you know, that can come out in violence and come out in all sorts of ways, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the way it's expressed. And you see, you know, I love sport. I love tennis in particular.
Mm-hmm.
The Australian Open's on at the moment. There was a game today between the world number 2, Swiatek, and another European player, I can't remember her name, and Swiatek is number 2 in the world. Mm-hmm. She lost today. Mm. Now, she's in a really bad place, and I've been watching her coming into the tournament, and she's just so pent up with something, and I'm going, she's Polish, you know, she's pretty uptight anyway, but I'm going, what's going on there? What's going on there? Because she's a magnificent player who is playing like the world is on her shoulders. Yeah. There's no fun there.
Yeah.
And I feel like going, for fuck's sake, somebody help her.
Yeah.
Get her off the tennis court and get some fun back into her life, you know. And, I mean, it's a random bloody thing, but so it's that. And I look at the passion she's got for the game, and at the moment it's eating her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's not good. Not at all.
And that happens all over the place.
Yep, it does.
What? I'm going to sneeze. Hang on.
I love that.
Are we? Am I?
Oh, it's one of those ones where you don't know if you're going.
Oh no, I hate it. Okay. But I'm not.
Okay.
There you go. Talk myself out of it. What else? What do you do?
Oh yeah, what do I do? Like for a job?
Yeah.
Such a good question. And I think actually it's a good question because it's not that complicated actually, but it is too broad for where I'm at.
Fucking so is.
I have 2 main businesses. One is an HR business where we basically provide chief people officer, very like exec level services to companies, startups primarily who can't afford full-time staff. So I have a client at the moment, but my team, I have contractors who work with most of our other clients. That's been going for 4 years. That's in struggle town. It has been for a little while.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, tough environment,
It's a
but
tough
you'd be doing
environment,
that. Yep.
100%. And then the other thing that's newish, and it's probably only about 9 or 10 months old, is a company called Leadership Treehouse, which does leadership development through the art of play, so role playing. So it's like I describe it as Dungeons and Dragons for leaders. It's like fantasy role play for leadership development, and it's a crazy idea, but it's probably the best idea I've ever had. And it's I'm determined to make that an incredible global business. Yeah, I'm very passionate about that because. Lots of reasons. The first one being that leadership training at the moment I think is incredibly outdated. And so I think there are many, many people around the world that are absolutely getting a disservice in the way in which they're being taught how to be a leader. It doesn't work for most people, the current stuff. We've got more neurodivergent leaders than ever, and we need to adapt to the times. And
got the wrong people becoming CEOs.
Oh, big time. Yes. And when we look at traditional leadership training, at the moment it's expensive. It is sometimes extremely exclusive in the way in which you access it. So what you're doing is you're just perpetuating the same old CEOs over and over again. So I hate that. It's a power imbalance bullshit thing. And so this is a completely different thing. And I believe it needs to be accessible for people who can't afford to pay much, neurodivergent leaders, people who would make great leaders but are often not given opportunities. and for traditional leaders too. But I think the whole system needs to be disrupted, and so that's why I'd like this to be global. There is nobody else in the world doing what I'm doing at the moment. I don't think that'll stay that way for long, but we've got an opportunity.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Right, there's room for thousands.
There's so much room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room. Yeah.
What came first? How did the idea arrive in your head?
Yeah. It arrived in... So I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for a few years. How that idea came into my head was that I realised that I was talking about my Dungeons & Dragons character in therapy a lot as a vehicle for exploring some of the relationships that I have with my family and stuff. It just so happened that often when we create characters in a fantasy and fictional way, they have echoes of who we are, and so we can use Dungeons and Dragons as a therapeutic method without even realising it.
And so that's like talking about you in the third person?
Inside the game, we either talk...
Like with a therapist?
With a therapist, sort of, yes. I would say, last night's game, my character did this, and that reminded me of a thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and we'd unpack that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, then I was also going, I want to develop a leadership program. That's been on my mind for ages. And so I thought, actually, why don't we just start experimenting with, Dungeons and Dragons with leadership qualities and designed for leadership environment. And so I developed something. We developed the initial idea with a friend of mine, Will.
Just hang on, need to go back.
Yeah.
What the fuck's Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game. It's where you and a bunch of your friends get around a table, create characters, and you've got one person called the Dungeon Master who takes you on a journey. So it could be that you're going to go and slay a dragon in a cave or something, and your characters go on that journey. You tell the story together. So there's moments where, okay, you come to a fast-moving river and there's no bridge. How are you going to get over it? Then one of the people over here might be a wizard and says, oh, well, actually, I've got a magic spell that can help create a fake bridge or a magic bridge or something, and we can go over it. Or the barbarian can throw people over because they're really strong or something like that. So everybody makes these decisions. You roll dice. The dice mimic, luck and fate. And so, if you roll really well, then you do the job. If you don't roll very well, then something disastrous might happen, and then the story changes. And so the Dungeon Master's got ultimate control over where the story goes based on the roles and decisions that this group makes. But it's collaborative. And so then you complete your mission. You might get some gold in the game for doing it, and then you go on another mission, or you do whatever.
Who wins?
No, well, it's all very collaborative, so no one's winning. So it's all of you against the world. You're heroes, ridding the world of evil, basically, or doing funny little adventures. It might not be a big evil thing that you might actually just be going to help a little old lady cross the street or something. I don't know. There's so many different things you can do. So you can. So
you playing this game? How long you played it for?
About 5 years. Not that long compared to most people.
And how's it changed you?
Oh, I can't even begin to describe that. First of all, the group and the friendships that I have from playing every week with this group of people that I met on Facebook, in my own personal game, we are going to be friends for life.
Are you in the room when you do this?
Yeah.
Not online?
So occasionally we've been online, during COVID and stuff, but mostly they come to my house.
Yep.
My house is the bigger house kind of thing. We have snacks and it goes for a few hours each week. So first of all, it's taught me a lot about friendship and showing up for each other, and but it's accessed a part of my brain that I forgot had existed, a creative side of my brain, the ability to use my imagination. If someone says, how are you going to cross this river that's uncrossable? Oh my God, now I have to... There's so many things I could do in that moment. I get to use my imagination, and it's just completely changed the way in which I interact with all sorts of things in workplaces or in personal life. Just the ability to tell a story is so much stronger. And it's also just full of belly laughs. We just laugh.
Yeah.
And that is so important. So important. And those same qualities are exactly why I was like, why can't I do that in the workplace? It's the same thing. We do the same thing when I do this in a workplace with senior leaders. I take them to do a bank heist. They might meet a rat king in a sewer and they suddenly have to negotiate with the rat king, or they have to kind of like break open a safe, or they have to negotiate with some guards. It's got nothing to do with work, but we have belly laughs, we have fun, we and then we debrief and we kind of go, what did we learn from that?
And you've also got moral judgments to make along the way, right?
Yeah, yep. Yes, and so that's interesting. So like every time someone makes a decision or a judgment call on what they're going to do, my job as the game master is to kind of like let those things happen, go with them, and then afterwards, in a debrief situation, I can ask them, why did you make that decision? That was odd. Why did you shoot that rat with your crossbow before even asking it a question? You don't know whether rats can talk in this world or not, but you chose to go and do something like violent. Why? We've had that. I had a senior leadership team. One of the people in that senior leadership team decided to attack one of the women on this ship that they were on. And I was sitting there going, the hell? Oh my God. I let it play out. I was very firm with some boundaries around it.
It's an imaginary woman.
It's an imaginary woman, to be clear. Yes. His character decided to hurt this woman because he believed that she wasn't telling the truth. Now, in the debrief, I was like, why'd you do that? Well, she wasn't telling the truth, and I was trying to like kind of get it out of her, and I was like, yeah, but what other methods might have there been in that situation? And why did you default to that? And tell me about, like, what kind of leaps of logic do you make in your workplace? And he's like, well, actually, I probably do default to assuming someone's not telling me the truth or doing something, and then I kind of come at them great, we've learned that. And so, like, what a cool discovery to have made in a
safe environment.
In the safe environment.
Yeah.
And I can just ask gentle questions about why did your character do that?
Yeah.
So it's very powerful and illuminating. Yeah.
How do you get in front of people with this crazy idea?
Yeah, I'd love to know. I mean, I've been lucky in that I've got very trusted relationships around the place. So like most of the games we've played within our first year of business have been with people I know who trust me and just say, hey, you say it's a good idea, we're going to do it. They pay me, do it, and they're like, well, that was amazing. Great, cool. There's been a few, recently I played a game with a bunch of farmers. That was extremely surprising that they chose to do that. I still don't really know why they chose to do that. I did a really good sales job on the call, I'm guessing, but for someone to look at our stuff and get it and be willing to kind of have a call with me is really difficult. I actually don't know the answer to that.
How do they find you, the farmers?
They found through my LinkedIn. Most of my business comes through my LinkedIn pages where someone goes like, oh yeah, that's an interesting idea that Tamara's just put out there. I'll go and check, and they'll go and check the website, and then they'll come through. But business is slow. It's not like I'm getting inundated with requests. There's no way. We get like hardly any inbound inquiry. The way in which I mostly do this is by doing free games with groups. And just going, let's experience it, because I don't think you get it until you experience it, which is a bit of a problem. My goal this year is to figure out how the hell I reach the audiences I need to reach. Yeah.
So I'm going to come clean here and say that 5 months ago, I had the same idea.
Okay.
I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, but another CQ member is a very avid Dungeons and Dragon player. We're working with a company in South Auckland, and we've got one particular group we're really struggling with. There are lots of introverts, different ethnic backgrounds, younger, and I can't get them to fucking engage and talk. Right? It wasn't my idea. It was my co-facilitator, young woman Samantha, wickedly smart. So it wasn't my idea. I said it was anyway, Sam's idea. And she said, why don't we get Nathan in and run a gaming thing with them?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. And instinctively I thought, maybe this will just break up, because from what I think, and it's a guess, that what's in the way is a whole lot of cultural status, a whole lot of systemic barriers that I can't see
Yeah.
that are sitting there,
Yeah.
and me rattling their cage is not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we haven't done it yet, but I'm going, so, yeah. And I just remember that.
I think it would be a very good idea. Introverts tend to get quite a lot out of this sort of style of doing things and can open up a little bit more, for sure. Well, also happy to give, if you guys are going to run it, I'm happy to give you some tips.
100%, 100%.
you know-
Because the thing is that all of the people in this group, English is a second language.
Yeah.
And so I thought this could give them a common language.
Yes, it can. The thing is, yes, so what often happens when you've got a group of introverts or people who, I've worked with a group that had English as a second language, or at least most of them did. What happens is not only are you creating an environment where you can speak up and say things because it's in character, and then you get to, the most important thing is that you have to own what you find out about yourself at the end. It's like extreme ownership. You can't, it's not an environment where you're going to be able to put blame on anybody else. You're going to have to take it really, take whatever you learn internally. But you also are doing such a silly game that the memory of it is going to echo through
Yes.
your workplace. So you've got some shared language. You've also got this weird shared imagery of that time that there was a dancing sheep in that field,
Yeah.
or this, and you can remember it, and you can go, oh, wasn't that funny? And it might trigger a learning that you had, etc. And so it actually brings these groups together in quite an interesting way. I had a group who were very sceptical about doing this, but this...
You must have quite a few.
Oh, most people are sceptical. I'm lucky that this usually the person who's purchasing it is into it, and then we just kind of like hook everybody in, and it's fine in the end, so it's great. And I like to just be like, hey, who's sceptical or who's feeling like this is going to be a waste of time? Yeah, cool, love that. Let's measure it again at the end. Your job today is just to have fun and play. Don't even try and think of this as whether it's going to be valuable or not. Don't worry about it. We'll get to that later.
How long does it take?
So one game I tend to try and go for 3 or 4 hours. It's usually an afternoon, but the best use of this is when we can do it over like a few weeks. So because you do your first game, you kind of get into it. You learn something. I go, cool, what'd you learn? Oh, I learned that actually I was trying to be courageous, but actually in these moments I defaulted back to not being courageous. Great. So what are you going to change next time for your character? Cool. Come back, do it again, push the boundaries again, see where we can kind of learn some new stuff. Great, learned this stuff. Now we can get into the third session. Gets deeper, deeper, deeper. So 3 afternoons is ideal. It's a big time investment, but actually a lot of people go on 3-day courses, so it's not really.
So, the impact measurement.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the impact measurement. There's a couple of things I've been thinking about. One is I've reached out to Victoria University and Massey University to say, hey, have you got any students studying something in this area that could come and like observe and participate and write an impact report based on survey data, based on whatever. Haven't heard back from them, so if anyone from Massey or Victoria's listening, check your inbox. But I've started doing surveys and things like that to try and capture this. So hard because it's so personal. They don't know what, in fact, not every single person has got a different agenda for being there and a different goal. And so you can ask what your goal is, and then you can ask, did you get better at that? The answer is yes. But how do you? I mean, I don't know. This is the next thing, because I'd love to publish some stuff.
So when you work that out, let me know.
I will.
It's like the thing that I have learned is that just trying to get people to describe how they're feeling is really hard.
It's really hard.
Right? And, and people don't do it. So I just went to an event at the local library, and I was invited in there as a business thing, and we got to tootle around 6 weeks before opening, which was very cool, and had a look, and the two people at the end, I said, showing us this mammoth project that's come together. I said, so how do you feel? And they couldn't tell me.
Yeah.
They told me what they thought.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing. So, we've got, when people talk about this, about, fucking filling out stuff. I mean, look, as a facilitator, you see movement in people that they don't see.
Exactly. And man, we had this case last year of like working with an organisation over a few sessions, and we had 3 months later, one of my team members went and did a 3 month later session with them to be like, what's changed, what's shifted. Everything was different. The way in which they were dealing with conflict was different. There were people who weren't really talking to each other that now we're talking to each other. Significant impact. Like that is stuff that I would say you cannot get from other trainings. It was deep and proper and real. We wrote all of this up, and because they were trying to get some further stuff going with us for other people. I don't know if it's CEOs, whoever, some senior leaders were like, well, we can't, but what's the actual measurement? And I was like, read this report. Your people were not talking to each other, and now they are. Do you know how much time in mediation and how much cost that would take normally? My God, we saw it all. We felt it all, they felt it all, and then to have their C-suite just completely dismiss it because it wasn't in the numbers that they wanted, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's not thinking holistically.
We've got to get rid of that shit.
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, seriously, we need to understand that subtlety, innuendo, is that the right word? Subtlety and those subtle things compound and make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And, look, with collective intelligence, we've seen people develop hugely, and they'll say, I don't think I'm getting anything out of it. I'm going, have you not?
Yeah.
Remember last year when you couldn't talk to the board and stuff like that, and but now you can.
Yeah.
Is that not something?
Yeah.
And you're seeing your kids more often now because you're not working so much. Is that? Oh yeah, but my net profit's not any better. I said, well, the economy's changed. All this,
What do you want, man?
It's just fucking Nora, It's so. I think we have thrown out all the measurement stuff now. We've thrown out all the numbers stuff.
Yeah. Well, what I like, I'll just say this about collective intelligence is that, when I first started in my group, we talked about that, this almost unidentifiable quality that these collective intelligence teams have, and the benefits, hard to write down specifically because they're so individual, and you just know, when you know. And that is cool. It almost feels like a bit secret, but I think it's but that's harder from a sales perspective.
Oh, it's a dog.
Yeah, but it's more important. And I think this is the thing that really annoys me. It's the most important and impactful work, and I've been involved with things like this collective intelligence, things like other things that don't have those numbers or those things. People are missing out because it's hard to sell the other thing. But that's often the most impactful work, is the stuff that we can't actually see in those ways, and that I just wish people would open their minds up a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, there is I had a number of cool conversations in the last wee while, and one was with another member, and he's American, and he said, look, what you're doing is going to be so sought after. And I said, why? And I said, the age of AI, a real person sitting down with a real person, dealing with real stuff, getting real outcomes, he said, doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, totally. I absolutely agree. I reckon every person, but also individual companies, global, I don't know, we're all going to have an awakening around this AI stuff. I know that I have in a reasonably short amount of time. I went from using it a lot to suddenly stepping back and going, I've been relying on this way too much. I've been missing human to human, proper, deep, impactful stuff. And it's not to say that I don't use AI any longer, but like I've come full circle around to like using it so specifically, and I reckon a lot of people are going to start going, ping, 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 actually I'm missing some of this deeper, insightful work that you can only get from connection from other humans. And I really hope that is the case. And then we can use AI, but we can use it a little bit more specifically.
Yep, it's got a place.
It does, yeah.
It's got a place. It's got a place, but it's not everywhere all the time and all that sort of carry on, right? So,
Totally.
yeah. But look, Tamara, I'm dying to, I'm dying to sit on one of yours and participate in what you're doing, because instinctively I go, I believe in it. I just thought, okay, so we get to role play in this imaginary world,
Yeah.
and create who we want to be, and push the boundaries and see how that works, because you are going to get a reaction from other people, right?
Yes.
And if I go and shoot that rat, then why do I do that? That stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah. And the flow on impacts, and you shoot the rat, and the person in your team who was an animal lover is now going to have an issue with you, and now you're going to have an in-character conversation about that. Great. Well, now we get to practice having a difficult conversation, right?
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all good stuff. That's what we want. We want people's natural instincts to come out, and then for them to go, oh, that was interesting. We don't want to prevent people from shooting the rat. Shoot the rat, but take a learning from it.
Yeah. I think if I would, I don't know. I was thinking, would I play it safe? I don't think I would. I think I'd make a complete dick of myself.
Great.
I think, and one of the most impactful one-day workshops that it was with Sarah Tucker, and it was on equity or something? Can't remember. And we played a board game thing.
Cool.
And we were split into teams, and I was in this team that turned out to be a Indigenous team, and our resources got taken away, and fuck, did I go off? And then we came and we'd achieved nothing, and this other outfit, and there were about 6 teams going. I wanted to go and rip down the tower that they had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought, and I look back now and go, you know what, I wish I had done that in real time. I go, that's how, right?
Yep.
And that was the gamification of this thing, of putting me into the space where I was a minority. No, I've never been a fucking minority. I've always been the majority,
Yep.
And it was just like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And I want to fight that.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. And how do we, when we haven't experienced something like that before, we will have gut instincts, then we'll have instincts that kick in if you take it, like there's all sorts of layers to that we could explore. One is going to kick over the tower, one is to not and just sort of think about it, and one is to kind of, there'll be so many different reactions. It'll be so interesting to debrief.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And, bit of humour, but not, was that one of the other participants in the group, they said, Harv, if you're Māori, you'd be in jail now.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah? She goes,
Yeah. It's not all, it's, even your choices in those situations will have consequences that would be different from another group. Yeah, totally. I can only imagine that one of my automatic reactions, I remember a similar game happening once, and I just started crying. And I just thought to myself, oh gosh, my initial reaction is just to feel and cry, and I was like, that's not that productive. but it's interesting, right? And I learned a lot from those things.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you call it? What do you call this thing?
My business. The business is
the
called
Leadership Treehouse.
Leadership Treehouse.
I actually wrote it down.
Yeah, Leadership Treehouse. We've got different games. One of our games is called A Quest Within. That's kind of like our signature game that kind of takes everyone in. But I custom design games all the time. And so, I don't name them. I just sort of go, oh, you've got 40 leaders getting together. I've got a trip to Melbourne in like 2 weeks with a bunch of people. They're like, oh, we'd like a game about communication and transparency and radical ownership. And I was like, okay, so now I'm going to go and custom design a game for that. And I never name them. Maybe I should, but like they just get custom done, and then we do them and we sort of see what happens, you know. So it's so fun. Imagine working in HR and now suddenly I get to design games. I'm not a game designer, but I am a game designer. Like I get to design games.
It's all a big game.
Fun.
It's all a big game.
Yeah, totally.
And what I was also thinking, reflecting on, is with this game, you can see the game. Where often we're playing a game and we can't see it.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Totally. And it's like, okay, so this is a game. Yeah, and when you go to work, you're in a game.
Yeah.
Right?
We're always in a game.
Yeah.
And it's complicated. No one knows the rules.
Yeah.
No one knows the rules. No one knows what character they're playing. Like, it's chaos.
And it changes,
Yeah.
and it's just like, what's going on? What?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. By the way, I'm not crying. I'm like sitting here rubbing my eyes. I've got something in my eye. That's just so you know. I'm not crying.
Tell somebody who cares.
And the audience listening is like, we don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, I know, but I'm just like half crying right now, but it's not really. Yeah, I mean, I think games are powerful. So I'd be so curious if you spin something up that's similar, like
Look,
I'm
I'm going
You're
to
probably
tap.
too busy.
I'm going to tap into what you're doing, because I just thought what we're doing now is not working. Everybody's frustrating, and good people are we're just not doing good work.
Yeah.
And as I said, it was Sam's idea, and I just thought, aha.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, okay.
Yeah, great. Love that.
And then we've got yes and. What does that mean?
Well, actually, it's really relevant to the conversation we had before.
Do you want to
about
stop?
Paradox. No, honestly, there's just something in my eye. Do you know what? I don't know what's in it, to be honest. I can rub my eye and talk at the same time. I'm really talented like that.
That's impressive.
It is really related to that paradox thing we talked about before.
Yep.
It's the same thing. It's the ability to hold two different things at the same time. It's like, this is true and this is true. Yes and is also an improv tool that we use often so I use that in my role-playing games. And that's where we can also just spin off an idea. So we're like saying yes to someone's idea and then spinning off into something else.
Yep.
But it's also yes and as in yes, you're right, and also this could be right as well. So it's kind of a bunch of things that's one of the tools that I use the most in my work in different contexts.
Yep.
In fact, I would say that most of the time I'm talking with leaders, I'm trying to say to them, yes, your experience of XYZ is true, and can you see this person's perspective as well? So it's like an improv tool, but it's also just like a really good management tool.
The other one I love using is going, and what else is true?
Yes.
Which is the same sort of thing, right?
It
just
is.
to go, and you'll see people go, what do you mean what else is true?
Yeah.
What else is true?
Yeah.
And so what else?
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
And you can just see them go, what? No, fuck, I'm here. I'm right.
Yeah.
I've stopped thinking. I'm
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because we need them to think. Because this is the thing, we get trapped in these ways of thinking. And when you say, yeah, and what else is true, or what else could be true, like just even extend your thinking to what else could possibly be true, even if you don't believe it right now. What else could be true? Great. Now we're starting to open the door of like what's possible. And the minute we do that, we can realize that all of that could be true, or none of it could be true, or it's somewhere in the middle, but it doesn't matter. We have to sort of start thinking a little bit bigger so that we can actually have empathy for each other, etc.
I do love messing with people from time to time. My son a few years ago was farming, and he had farming mates, and election year was coming up, and I said to them, these young guys, I said, who are you voting for this year? And I said, the Greens are actually your party though, aren't they? And he went, what? What? We fucking don't like the Greens. I said, no. Well, the Greens are the farmers' party, aren't they? Because they're telling you what you need to prepare for that's coming down the track. So aren't they your party? And seeing these guys, what? And one of them texted me a few days ago, a few days after, and went, "You bastard! I'm still thinking about that."
Good.
And it's just like, and yeah, okay, and what else?
Yeah.
And stop taking ourselves so seriously that we've got the answer.
Totally.
We know what's right.
Yeah.
You know, the world's too complex for that.
We can't know but how on earth can we know what's right? And it's funny because I think one of the things that I hold some really strong opinions about things, right? That's fine. But I also hold few opinions about a lot of things as well, because I'm prepared to be very led by other people in their experience and stuff. And I think that's, again, if I'm yes-anding that, I'm saying, like, yes, I'm a very opinionated person, and it's also true that I'm not actually that opinionated. I'm ready to listen, and I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to default to people who know different things than I do. And it's the only way we can, again, it kind of comes back to that paradox thing. It's a way of staying flexible, of thinking, you know?
I used to worry about myself, that how easily I was influenced by people that I like the sound of their ideas or something, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd examined that quite a lot for a while, going, what's that? Am I just an insecure, what? And I came to the, not conclusion, but I came to this point of going, I just need to be really mindful about who I hang out with and who I listen to.
Yeah.
And because I am really easily influenced.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think. And so by, good arguments or good, and so I go, okay, so I need to be really discerning with who I hang out with.
Yeah.
And I also know that biases just eat your intelligence.
Yeah.
They just munch through them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In some topics, I like being influenced. Right, like I'm thinking about being pro-Palestinian and the Palestinian voices there. I'm very influenced by what I read from people who are living in Gaza, because that's their lived experience, and I will soak it up. I will listen to lots of different things, and I am happily influenced in a way that I think is positive. But also, I think it is important to be discerning about who you're around, and if they are trying to manipulate you, I think there's some people that I've known who are trying to influence you. So even if you are an easily influenced person, I think the friends that we have in our lives are also people who are willing to not push things too much, and they're willing to be curious about your opinions, and they're willing to offer something to think about rather than be like, you ought to,
Yeah.
I think there's some people that will be so, like, direct. And again, I mean, I'm talking about myself. I'm of the opinion that if you don't agree with me on some topics, I think you're a bit of a dick. But I'm actually not going to spend time trying to influence you if you're, like, you do you. You be influenced if you want to be influenced. But, like, if I can sort of nudge some people in the right direction, I will. Yeah. I don't know. It's a
I'm not doing that as much anymore. Mm-hmm. It's given me more freedom.
Yeah.
Because, I love being self-righteous.
Yeah.
I can get off on that, and I'm getting off on that less and less now. And I'm putting stuff out there, and trying to be eloquent, and then not try and influence people. So I'm doing that less now. I don't think I've got as much energy to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a different style, and it's working for me at the moment.
Yeah.
I do get really annoyed at I do get frustrated sometimes.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, come on, really?
Yeah.
I go to golf We've got a guy who used to come to golf with a Trump hat on.
Oh, God. God. Ugh.
And so I'd just pick away at him, you know, and I thought, oh, that's not going to work. It's just going to piss him off, you know?
Yeah. I reckon when someone's down that far down that path that they're willing to wear a hat like that, especially in New Zealand, like they're too far gone. It's not worth your energy.
Yeah. So, you know, that happens from time to time.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Tamara, what have we missed out in this conversation? What else you want to chuck in there?
I don't know, I feel like we've gone to some places.
Well, the thing is, and I'm saying that because you and I could talk all night.
Yep.
And we shouldn't do that because people are growing
People
old
got
as they listen to
time.
this.
Yeah. Time is passing.
And your
Yes.
eye is all better now.
That's good, yeah.
What have we missed out? Anything we've missed out in this conversation you'd like to chuck in there?
I am having a wee think about that, but I don't know. I like to just go with the flow, and I think the flow's been good. So no, I can't think of a thing that I was like, oh, must say thing. I feel I feel like it's been a good chat.
And you haven't cried?
No, I mean, no. My eyes were crying, but I wasn't crying.
No, this is
That's
bad
different.
art.
What
Yeah.
about you? Is there any? Oh my God, I know you're like,
No.
don't ask me questions.
No, look, I this leadership treehouse thing, you know, that's the thing I wanted to dig into because my kids give me shit about Dungeons and Dragons when I like, oh, what's what? Because two of the three play Dungeons and Dragons,
very
and one of
popular.
them's a dungeon master or whatever, and I'm just like, and he brought us mates to our place, and here these fucking young adults playing Dungeons and Dragons out on the lawn. I'm going, oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is this?
I know.
But they were having so much fun.
I know, it's so fun. You ought to play. You ought to try it. I will say I'm running a new game, and I think I might be the youngest, and I'm dungeon mastering it. And I think you're never too old to engage in make believe.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
Absolutely cool with that.
So I reckon. One time, we can play a game. I'll invite you.
Yeah, because you put a few things out there. So for people to find you
Yes.
on LinkedIn,
Yeah, I'm LinkedIn, Tamara Buckland. There's probably only one of me, I think.
and you post
A lot.
regularly.
I post at least once a day. It's a tactic. It's a tactic I'm trying. It's a strategy.
How long have you been doing it for?
Probably a year. It seems quite natural to me to post on LinkedIn these days. That's not too bad. But my goal this year, actually, my goal for February, which is crazy, is to post on TikTok and Instagram every single day. I'm going to be rolling a dice to determine. It's called Roll for Cringe. I'm going to be rolling a dice to determine a D20, which will have 20 different things that I think are cringy type things to do to try and market my business. So like it could be on the spot, on the video, on the spot, make up a game that people could play, or cold email someone and like film me doing that and stuff like that. So trying to market Leadership Treehouse, and so I'm actually going and like doing something extremely uncomfortable and doing a video every single day. So LinkedIn posting, yeah, you can find me on there, but like you might find me on like TikTok or Instagram. I don't know what my handles are, so I can't tell you. But I suppose if you search Leadership Treehouse, you might find it. But that's going to be the whole point of that, is that it's going to be slightly embarrassing content in order to kind of get over my fear of doing it. So could be very embarrassing, could be entertaining. So maybe that's what people
I'm
need
not
to
on
do.
TikTok, but I might be on there.
I know.
Like, come and
I'm
watch this
scared.
crazy woman.
I
Come
know.
and watch this crazy woman.
I know. It will be like that.
Yeah.
And I'll let the dice determine what we're going to do each day. So that'll be interesting.
Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good luck. I learnt to video myself last year. I did a course, and there's a bit of an art to it. I haven't mastered it, but that was through a Australian dude.
Oh, cool.
And and we had to do X number of videos and stuff. It was amazing that people would go, oh no, I can't do it until I've done this or this or this. And the guy said, just do it. It's practice. Just do it. Just do it. You know. And I put up a video yesterday. It took me 5 takes to get the video to what I wanted, but they're only 30 seconds. You know, 5 takes is not much.
Yeah.
And most of them only last 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh fuck, that shouldn't just stopped. You know, start again.
Yeah.
But it's it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Tamara, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And good luck with Leadership Treehouse.
Thank you.
You're onto something.
Yeah, thank you. That does mean a lot. That means a lot because I get a lot of rejections. So that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm drawn to it, and I think the imagination thing, like collective intelligence, is all about curiosity, which is different than imagination.
Very linked, though.
They're linked, but they are different. And I think that as adults, that imagination thing can get very stale.
Yep, totally.
Very stale.
Yep.
So good luck.
Thank you.
And I'll be watching with lots of judgment.
Yay, please do. Judgment's great. And the minute you perceive something to judge me on, tell me. I'd love to know it. That would be perfect, actually. Please judge me.
Cool. Look out for Tamara Buckland. Judge her like crazy.
Yay.
Tamara, thank you. This has been great.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed another session brought to you by Collective Intelligence, which is a home for people who care enough to change the world. If you're interested in exploring becoming a member, reach out to me, harv@collectiveintelligence.co.nz, or go to our website, www.collectiveintelligence.co.nz. Have a look, drop us a line in there, and let's sit down and have a chat about whether this unique system of developing people is of interest to you.